since the 8-11 mark. A ton of free throws. The first field, long-range three from Curry. Oh, he's got it. Stephen Curry puts the Warriors up 5 as we approach 1 minute. Russo puts it in. LeBron James, this is for the win. No good. And the Golden State Warriors hang on. A tremendous comeback for the Warriors.
You can't allow a team with Stephen Curry and the firepower that he possessed to hang around.
Wardell, why is Kelly so good at...
And the Nets' big 3 in action in Cleveland. Got a 3! The Nets are 10 of 10. This is Bo Derek territory. Kyrie Irving, there was a tribute on the video board during that timeout. He just pointed to the ring finger.
Sexton, 6 on the clock. 3 ball. There's another one! Colin Sexton! Absolutely sizzling from downtown. 139, 131.
Cavaliers with a gutty win over the Nets. 147 to 135 in double overtime.
Another win at home for the 76ers. Hadn't played since Saturday, but come back. Joel Embiid, a dominant performance with 42 points, 10 rebounds. They outscore the Celtics 31-17 in the fourth quarter.
Trey setting up the play, calls the play. Now he dribbles towards the middle. A long 3. Bang! Trey Mendes! He let it fly, and the Hawks lead by 6, 119 to 113. Trae Young's got 38 points, folks. He had 6 at halftime.
As Vanderbilt misses the first of 2. His second shot is no good. Rebounded by Anthony. 2 seconds left. Anthony for the win. Got it! Knows it! Cole Anthony gives the Magic a victory. Improbable. Unbelievable in Minneapolis.
The week has been so freaking good, but guess what? It's not over. There are 8 games in progress around the league at the moment. We got Celtics at Sixers. Joel Embiid squares up, drives to the lane, and battles through some contact. He gets the and 1, keeping the Sixers within 3. Under 8 minutes in the third. Jaylen Brown coming in hot. Acrobatic layup through contact and the and 1. He has 30 points for the Celtics so far. Wow, the body movement just so incredibly graceful. That game, 99 to 87, 8 minutes left. 76ers up. Now it's 101 to 94 in the fourth. Next, we got Nets versus Cavs. Kevin Durant is out of this game, doing some rehab on his Achilles. Nets looking obviously to bounce back after that loss to the Cavs on Wednesday, but guess what? It's not looking great. But let's go to the first quarter. Pass by James Harden, between the legs to Kyrie Irving. Let's take another look. Sheesh. Colin Sexton, you know that guy, feeds Jared Allen for the poster dunk on his former teammate. He must be mad, maybe a little bit. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Under 10 to play, Colin Sexton takes it to the hoop, giving the Cavs. Now they have a 12-point lead. Kyrie has some beef with Sexton, and he jukes him out, getting the and 1. Cavs up 113 to 102 with 4 minutes left. We now welcome in our very own Brian Windhorst. You had a great piece on the Nets on Thursday after their game, their loss against the Cavs. So I want to ask you about something that you said in that about Kyrie. He said it took resolve, compromise, and sacrifice to overcome a 19-20 start in the season for the NBA Finals when he was with Cleveland. And so when you think about this team, right, the Nets obviously didn't have a hot start when he got back on the court. So how much compromise, resolve, and sacrifice is it going to take this team to do what the Cavs were able to do?
Well, I'm sure Kyrie thinks he's sacrificing, but the first 2 games here, this game's still going on. He's taken the most shots far and away by anybody on the Nets. He hadn't played in 2 weeks. He came back in that game on Wednesday night and took the most shots. And, down the stretch, Kevin Durant and James Harden were yielding to him. I think they absolutely wanted to make him feel comfortable. But this is going to be something that Kyrie's going to have to work on. That integration with LeBron James and Kevin Love was bad. LeBron took him aside within the first 5 games of the season and said, stop being a ball hog. It's not been that level, but Kyrie definitely has come in and looked to let everybody know he's not a third wheel. But the reason the Nets are struggling right now, and the biggest things that they've got to fix, they're not a good defensive team, and they're not a good rebounding team, and they're getting killed in both fronts tonight. The Cavs are one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They're destroying them. They're destroying them on the boards. They're going to have to make a couple of more moves to fortify this roster. Now, today, the NBA awarded them a $5.7 million disabled player exception because Spencer Dinwiddie is out for the year. They can use that to go get a player. And one of the guys I think they may call on is the Cavs and JaVale McGee, who is now a third-string center after Jarrett Allen got there. JaVale McGee close with Kevin Durant from his time in Golden State. They won rings there together. So they're going to have to get somebody to play a little defense to get some rebounding, regardless of how the big three play together.
That's very interesting. I was going to ask you about that, and it will be interesting to see how all the pieces fall together. Perk, I'm going to ask you about a tweet. Speaking of pieces and roles that people have on this team, you tweeted this, all right? Kyrie is going to have to be okay with being Alfred. Okay, so he's not exactly looking like Alfred so far. He led the team in shots, as Wendy said. Only 3 assists tonight. He has a little more. If Kyrie doesn't slide into that Alfred role, does this work?
No, it don't work at all. Look, you have James Harden and Kevin Durant. In my eyes, Kevin Durant is the best scorer that has ever touched the damn basketball. James Harden is the most prolific scorer that has ever touched the basketball. 2 MVPs. Kyrie, you have to be the third option. And I feel like Steve Nash right now is not using him in the right way. You have to put him in a 6-man role. You still start him, but sub him out early in the first quarter, bring him back at the start of the second to roll with the second unit and let him do him. Because right now, he's trying to prove a point. And Wendy was right. Look, the word sacrifice should never come out of Kyrie's mouth because he's not trying to take a back seat to no one, and right now it's not adding up. Yes, he had a 37-point game, and right now he might be on pace for 40, but it's 2 losses. So you have to switch it up. You have to get others involved because the last thing you want is for Joe Harris, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan not to get touches offensively because it's hard to ask them to go down and play defense when you're not involved on the offensive end.
Wendy, going into the season, everybody expected the Nets to be at the top of the East. Where do you think that they rank right now?
Well, my gosh, there are times offensively, like that first 5 or 6 minutes of the big three playing together, they made their first 10 shots. I mean, it was awesome to watch them play offense, and I think there's going to be times where we're going to be blown away by these guys. But right now, they are frankly a bottom 4 or 5 defensive team, and they may be bottom 3 defensive team. And so I can't look at a team that is going to be a bottom 5 defensive team, which they have been since the first 2 games, and say that they are a contender to win a conference. But I will say, they have the 2 open roster spots, and they just got this disabled player exception. And I'll tell you what, if I was any net on that team, not named Irving, Durant, or Harden, I'd be worried I was getting traded. And so give them 6-8 weeks here to see what they do with this roster and see if they can fortify it. There are moves to be made, and we'll see where they are come mid-March and evaluate them then.
All right, let's move over to the West really fast. And Perk, we're going to pull up another one of your tweets. Your tweets are just fire, so we always have to do that. You said you were ready to see the Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis, to go guard LeBron. Last night, and of course, the Lakers won 113-106 over the Bucks. How do you feel like Giannis fared last night?
I mean, he did okay, but he wasn't LeBron. LeBron is still showing us why he should have won MVP. Every time he faces Giannis, LeBron goes at him, and Giannis still won't guard him. Look, I was begging and pleading to people, don't get caught up in the analytics. Don't get caught in the PER. I don't even know whose PER is, right? Don't get caught up into that. That's fool's gold. Watch the game with your eyes and then determine who has the effect on the game. It's too many times, not just on the defensive side, but even on the offensive side, your MVP, y'all MVP, Giannis, is not even touching the ball in the 4th quarter when it's a possession-by-possession game. He's actually going to stand in the corners and letting Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton keep them in the game or win the game for them. So I just wanted to see Was he going to elevate his game, take some self-pride, and not say this is what the coach want me to do, but go into the huddle and say, you know what? I got him, coach. And he didn't do it again last night. So it don't surprise me one bit.
All right, Wendy, so when you think about the way that the 76ers are playing and the new super team in Brooklyn, how do you feel like the Bucks stack up in the East?
Yeah, well, they've just had 2 tough losses in a row against Brooklyn and the Lakers, and that's obviously not encouraging. Giannis is putting up good numbers, but their bench has not been to the level that you need to be a championship team. And they revamped that bench because they traded for Drew Holiday, and that's a little bit worrisome. Their front 5 is pretty good, but man, I'm a little worried about that bench. And Perk, Giannis right now reminds me of LeBron in about 2008, 9, 10. Now, LeBron was better then, but LeBron was absolutely unconscious, untouchable in the regular season. Far and away won his first 2 MVP awards. And then he got to the playoffs and he didn't play at the same level. And it took LeBron a while to get over that hump to realize what his control and his power was in the postseason. Giannis hasn't had that yet. And the way this Bucks team is structured and the way this bench is, he's going to have to become that Miami Heat LeBron James to win this team a championship. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. But Perk is right. We'll fight on who was the MVP in the regular season last year. The MVP of the playoffs was LeBron, and it was not Giannis. Giannis has got to be the MVP of the playoffs for the Bucks to win this thing.
Yeah, but Wendy, before you go, I can't just let you off the hook that easy, because before LeBron went to Miami, he did take a Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals. Although they got swept by the Spurs, At least he got them out of the conference and went against that bad boys Detroit Pistons. So I don't know about that one, Wendy. I ain't going to let you just get out of hoop strings that easy without me coming back.
I would say that Giannis's stats the last two regular seasons were as good as LeBron's stats have ever been. Having said that, regular season. So your point is well taken.
Well, we'll see how the season shapes up. Thanks so much, Wendy, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, you're watching Hoop Streams. We're counting down to Denver Nuggets taking on the Phoenix Suns. In this matchup, you know that guy, Jamal Murray, 2 of the best shot makers in the league, are going head-to-head in the matchup tonight.
These fans are going to have stories to tell about Devin Booker for the rest of their lives.
What are you thinking about right now?
I just want to win.
Booker, this is for the win. Got it!
Murray, does he got another one in him? Oh, you bet he does!
We play Thursday? You don't get 2 days off?
No.
And oh my goodness, what a basket! Jamal Murray.
Quick move, Booker. Beautiful finish by Devin Booker.
Murray inside, incredible! Jamal Murray with a stroke of genius, majestic.
Murray around his man. Come underneath.
Circus shot!
You can't guard him one-on-one.
It's a zone that is kind of hard to explain.
Booker is one of the best young talents in the game. You see a lot of Mamba and Devin Booker.
Booker on the attack. Launches the shot as he goes tumbling over the top of the cameraman.
He's a straight baller is what he is.
I don't shoot any shots to miss him.
Devin Booker taking matters into his own hands with a nasty left-hand finish.
You're the highlight, man. Smile for the camera.
Murray's got it. Booker drops home away. Come underneath. And he throws it up and in. Jamal Murray again.
Like I said, I play with the will to win. When you fight for something, it means a whole lot more.
Bubble basketball was so good. It's nostalgia. That's the Joker. We're doing something different this week. We're doing something called Perk's Top 3. Perk, I'm gonna have you walk us through the top players that you got for this week. Just this week in particular, this does not mean that this is Perk's top players in the league, just the ones that he's impressed with this week specifically. Perk, who's your number 1 guy?
Well, look, first of all, I know we know about Joel Embiid. We know about Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Let's show some other people some love, like Big Jokic, who is putting up NBA 2K numbers. This is unreal what he's doing right now at the center position. He is flat out balling, career highs all across the board, and I love it. You know, I got a soft spot for the big man in the league, and when I see a big man dominating to this caliber, it just